Hey everyone, welcome to I Truly Love It. My name is Susan, and today I'm working on hashtag Crafty Christmas in July 25. This is hosted by Teri over at Sweet Pea Papers, and this is the fourth annual event. and so we're making Christmas items in July, and there's a lot to tell you about. So let me get started here. First of all, there are prizes, and I think I have on this side. Okay, so there's 30 collaborators, and there's 50 plus videos because there's 2 every day for every day in the month of July, and today is my day. There are prizes, and they're donated by, here's the list. We got Sweet Pea Papers, Crafty Dragon Creations, Creative Paper Artisan, The Serendipitous Crafter, Creating with Jovi, Sunflowers Indoors, Studio 28E, Journal Creations, Lynn's Crafty Life, and Cheryl's Crafts. And Cheryl's day is today with me. And so you need to, post your pics to get entered in the drawing using any Christmas papers. And you have to enter by July 31st. And you're going to post there's 3 groups you can post in on Facebook. There's the Sweet Pea Papers group. There's a Junk Journal Tutorials and More group, and the Junk Journal and Paper Crafts group. And I have a link tree listed below that has every link you need. It has Teri's link to her channel. It has the 3 Facebook groups, and it has all the guest collaborators as well. All right, and then this is just a list of all the different guest collaborators. If you want to pause that, lots of familiar names up there. There's me. I totally love it. And okay, so there's a drawing on August the 3rd. That's Sunday, August the 3rd, for this event. It will be held on Teri's Sweet Pea Papers YouTube channel. There are 20 plus prizes, including free junk journal kits and ebooks. You just have to create a Christmas project or projects, post a picture or videos of your projects in the Sweet Pea Papers Facebook group with Crafty Christmas in July 25. Each post, not picked, your post, is worth 1 entry in the drawing. So make sure you're making your own post. Excuse me. You can enter more than 1 post per day for more entries in the drawing. Post your entries by the 31st of July. And here is the calendar. Okay, so as a participant, you only need to use Christmas papers, whatever Christmas papers you have. But as a guest collaborator, I was asked to use 1, 2, or both kits that were so graciously given to us by Stacy at Crafty Dragons. Hers is a steampunk Christmas theme, and Kieran at Creative Paper Artisan, whose theme for her kit was Christmas Mouse. And I have decided to go with Christmas Mouse. And I've had this kit since June. I've actually done a lot since, as far as cutting and stuff, prepping. And then here it is a couple of days before, and I need to get busy. So I'm going to tell you what I did. So um, her kit is all JPEGs, and JPEGs, like in my computer, I can only print 1 at a time. And so if I wanted to print on the back, I'd have to, print 1, flip it over. Well, I'd probably do that with my printer doesn't flip over. Anyways, but because they're JPEGs, I can't print. We can print like 2 pages per page. So I can't make them smaller like this. So what I did was I put them all in. I have Adobe, and made a PDF out of them so that when it's a PDF, I can print 2 per page and make them smaller. And Susan, why do you want them smaller? Because my project is to show you how to make a paper bag journal. Now I have a fancy red one. This is a gift bag, like a party gift bag that you would get, say, like at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. I actually found mine at Goodwill. And I thought, well, that's a great idea to make a small journal and use one of these bags. And of course it's red, so it's Christmassy. And but I needed the pages to be smaller to fit. And I apologize for my voice. So what I'm going to do is make a paper bag journal and show you how to do that. But back to the pages. So I don't have a complete flip through of her kit, but I'll show you some of the pages I do have. And I did, print on the back. So she had like these pages, and then she had background pages, I guess is what they're called. She had like the little character pages. And then I have these, and they are different sizes because of the files. Then these are some that I cut apart because they're going to be like the journal cover pieces. And then I have some more here that, is this a repeat? Yeah. I started to cut it and remembered I wanted to print on the back. So, but we may find a use for those. And then she had some little journal cards. I haven't completely cut them apart, but I have, trimmed them off the paper. Aren't they adorable? And then she has ephemera, little pockets. And she's got some tags. And there you go. All right, so let's talk about the paper bag. All right, the paper bag. Now I'm going to make a trifold, and I'm going to keep this bottom part. You don't have to. If you want to, just cut that part off and do away with it, and then just have this be your journal cover, and it's just, like a single signature type of journal, just on a smaller scale. And but I'm going to make a triple fold paper bag like that, and I'm going to show you how you can turn this into a hidden pocket, and we're going to put some stuff here, and we will put a closure on this as well as we're creating it. And but this is a smaller size paper bag. You've got big ones. You can even use the big grocery bag ones if you want to use big papers. And so I have my digital paper pages that I've printed out already. Also pulled out some dyed paper, some green and red, and I have a little doily. And then this was an envelope I made the other day. I was just playing around, and I thought, well, that's kind of the same green that she used in her digital, or at least that's how it came out on my copy machine. And then as I'm crafting, I feel like I need to add more pages. I'll pull in some more pages, and we'll talk about that at the end. So let's get started with making the signature. So my signature is going to go into this first part, and then this will be a pocket here as well to hold more ephemera. And I'm going to sew it in here with a little, you could just do 2-hole pamphlet stitch. I'm going to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. I'm not sure. I pulled out red and I pulled out green with red attached to it. So I might go with green just to get some green, but then again, I feel like it's like a red journal. So, decisions. All right, some of the pages are bigger, like I said, because of the file, what kind of file it was. So I need to trim this little edge here. But I didn't know if you had that struggle as well when you get a digital kit, if it's a JPEG versus a PDF and your printer. So my printer, I don't know if this is the case for others or it's just certain printers, but mine, JPEGs, I had to print individually. I can't print 2 per page because it's not one big file. They're separate files, if that makes sense. Versus a PDF is like a document and they're all together. So I just scooped them up and put them into that. And I know not everybody has that ability, so you'll have to adjust to whatever your printer capabilities are. And I am not a guru of any sort, so I don't know any other printer than the one that I work with here at the house. and I'm still learning sometimes how to use that. Okay. I was just trimming off some of the little white edges that didn't get quite cut off. All right, I feel like I want, like in the center, one of these. And I think I'm going to go with this one here. So I'm just going to fold those in half. And, oh, adorable. I think I want him facing this way. So in general, what I try to do when I'm making my signature and I have digitals I'm using, I try to alternate digital, non-digital paper, and you know, kind of have that pattern so that you don't necessarily have digital, but you could. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And I did not print out all her pages. I think I was saying that. Some other of the videos that were made have the flip through of the kits, and there's, like I said, also one that Stacy made, which was Steampunk Christmas, and that's an option for you too. Okay, so I need to now trim these papers down here. Let me get my trimmer here. All right, so the paper bag, we want to make sure we don't, let's see, the paper bag is 6 inches tall, and folded it is, I would say 3.5, so no more than 6 tall and 3.5 folded. So 7, because you're going to fold it in half, so 7 inches long, 6 inches tall. Okay, so we want, let's see, let's cut this in half. It's 8.5, so 4 1/4. All right. But that's the wrong side, Susan. We want 7 inches long, so we want to take off 4 inches here. And then we want, I probably just totally did that wrong, didn't I? 4 1/4. I did. Well, that's not too bad. Okay. So I have that. Okay. And so, like these. So if you want them taller, then you're gonna, because I'm trying not to lose too much paper. I think I'm gonna save that piece. All right. I want it to be 6 inches tall. Let's do 5 3/4 inches tall. And I need it to be 7 inches. Like that. Now we got a tall green one. So we're going to have all kinds of sizes in here. See, this one is the tallest of all of them. I might, but it still fits in my, you know, in the actual journal. So if you like everything uniform, and, you know, cut it the way you like it. And this one, 7 inches long. Okay, these little pieces can be saved for different purposes. Okay, while we're here looking at papers, let's add some papers. All right, I have This is a composition notebook, but it's graph paper. And I just popped all the threads in the center so they're easy to get out. Okay, we want it 5 3/4 inches tall. Let's trim off this rough top. Oh, I keep hitting my glue that's sitting here. Okay, and then 5 3/4. And we want it 7 long. All right, and there's a different kind of paper, and you can round corners if you want to. All right, so grab all the papers you want to go in your signature. All right, I'm going to put my signature together, and I'll be right back. All right, I have assembled my signature here, and got my clip on here, but I'm going to clip it to my journal. I'm going to eyeball this, but if you want it to be exact measurements, then by all means, you can do that. I'm going to take my awl here and just kind of find the center. Before I do that, I feel like I need to lower the green paper there. Maybe lower the red paper as well. Ended up right back where I had it. All right, so we're going to take the awl and we're going to kind of find the center and we're going to put a hole through it and then kind of come up maybe an inch from the bottom and maybe about an inch from the top, and I'm going to flip it around because it's a lot easier to do it that way. All right, now it would have been great had I got my ribbon ready, or floss. All right, I am going to go with green. All right, the rule of thumb is you want it to be, I think that's the right end to pull from. Hang on. You want it to be 2.5 times the length, but I'm going to do 3 times the length. Because if you want to add a charm, then you might want some, ribbon hanging down there. And I just use embroidery floss, and as people like wax thread, I don't have any, but I can get embroidery floss all day long. And I use all 6 strands of it. All right, so we're going to find that center hole, go through the center hole, and we want to have some length on that hanging out. And we're going to find that top hole, or you can go to the bottom hole, doesn't matter. All right, come up to there, and we'll go all the way down to that bottom hole. Oops. I just pulled the thread out. But it's easy to put back in with these big, like tapestry needles. I almost said noodles. All right, and then we're going to come back up to the center, and you want to try not to come up through the middle of that string. That's already there. And I want a piece on this side, and I want a piece to come out on that side. And we're going to tighten it, and we are going to double knot it, square knot. So once, and then go the other direction. There we go. And then you have some hanging down, and you can add some charms. All right, so that's my signature. So let's take a look at the pages here. All right, I've got green paper, and I know you're like, well, why are you starting with the plain paper? Because I have these that I had left over from choosing the one I wanted for the cover, and so we're gonna, select what's gonna go on the cover, and then we'll put one here, and then I think that might go there or there. Happy New Year at the end. Okay. So next, so this pocket goes under there like that. All right, the next thing we're going to need, because this is kind of thick, we do need a closure. And I just got some little gingham ribbon here that has a little shine and sparkle on the edges. And I'm going to make sure that that's even. And mine's going to go over the signature. And, if you do it different, you want to put 2 ribbons, you can go under the signature, get, the floss if you want to. I'm just going to go over, I'm going to glue this down. And then we're going to put a topper on here. So I'm going to keep that guy closed so I can focus on this part. So I'm going to kind of fast forward this part for you. All right, I had to switch to Aleene's clear tacky glue for that to stick. Barely art just wasn't cutting it. So then when I'm done, I can tie that in a bow and I'll be done. So let's focus now on the cover. And maybe you're over there. So I want to try to use up any scrappy bits I've had and not leave them, for another project. Let's try to use them up. So I have some of the sheet music that I put in there. It was Deck the Halls. And I think O Little Town of Bethlehem was on the other side. And I had this little piece left. And I thought, well, I'll put that underneath, do a little collaging here. We'll kind of tear it down a little bit. And then some of this green leftover dyed paper. And make a little collage here behind our little, I decided to go with the Kringle Candy Company mouse. So let me get this torn down here. If I had like that, I might off the top there, maybe a little off the bottom. And let's see if I glue that one. I'll put that kind of down. I'll have to move that clip. It's kind of in the way. We'll get that one up there, that one down there, and then our little mouse kind of like that, maybe. Let's see. I'll put it on fast forward as I try to figure this out. All right, you guys, I went ahead and finished it up for you, so we'll just talk about it. I want to let you know I did add a little mouse charm down here at the bottom. Isn't he adorable? I ended up having to use, like I said, clear gel because the Fairly art just wouldn't hold the ribbon to the paper. I went ahead and, of course, decorated the front, and if you had a little sentiment, you could add that there. So let's go ahead and go inside. I didn't put anything on the back because I figured that's going to be on the table. I guess you could, and you could put, you might want to Mod Podge it or some matte medium or something on it to keep it from getting messed up. All right, so when we open it up, we do have that pocket. There's a little envelope that I made previously, and I just used a little punch out of a craft paper, kind of a cardstock material, and I just glued one of the little journal cards there on the front and just stick it in there. And use that same as one, I don't know, how big was it, like 5x7 piece of cardstock, like craft paper, and I got quite a bit of use out of it. In fact, I still have a little piece left. A little pocket here, and this was part of one of the digitals. I thought I would just put that there for a little decoration. And there's a journal card. All right, this was one of the pages that I used when I did the cover. I had a couple other ones that because I didn't want to waste the paper, and so I just cut those and glued them on like I said I would. All right, and this is another little journal card, but this time I cut along the focal point there. I made a little corner tuck, and this is one of the tags. Just tuck that in there. This is one of the journal pages, one of the background journal pages. Piece of that craft stock, and this was like a belly band, I guess. I just used it as decoration. You know, a little tag in here and a little journal card. And over here is just a little journal card I attached with a paper clip. I didn't put ribbon or anything on it, but you could. Here's a little belly band, and there's a little, there's the belly band, and that's a little tag. And this was left over from the red dyed paper, so I put that in there for a little journal spot. There's the other side of that page. There's the dyed paper. This was Christmas music. It's perfect size. Green dyed paper, digital, little doily. This little belly band I actually used as an up tuck. That's a little tag there. There's the center. Isn't that cute? So adorable. All right, then we're coming to the other side here. All right, I just made a little pocket there for the journal card. There's the other half of the music. Little belly band with a tag. There were two pockets, so I put them on the same page together, and I got two little tags in there. And then I had a piece of that red dye paper left over, so we made a little side tuck. It's a journal card. All right, and then this is the back of the bottom of the bag. All right, and so in that space in between, that middle third, I used some of that red dye paper and one of the little journal cards, and I made a little notepad with some scraps. And that little belly band just holds that in place. You could decorate it if you wanted to, but no one's really going to see it when the notepad is in there. So one thing you could add into the journals as well is wrapping paper. I did not because ours is all packed away right now, but you could. All right, so this is the bottom of the bag. And of course, this is actually the bottom. Like if you opened it up right here, this would be the bottom, and this would be the side. And the other side of it is been glued with some Barely Art glue, and it's got a little secret spot in there. I'm not gonna leave that because that's actually a little too wide, but you have a little secret pocket in there. Took a piece of that green dyed paper, made a belly band on top of some craft paper. I put that on top because I wanted, yeah, the bottom is bumpy with all the different folds for the paper meeting. And so there, and you could decorate that. You could write on it. And that's it. And there's in the center. Yeah, like I said, I add that little mouse charm. But that is my project for Crafty Christmas in July 2025. This was actually quite a challenge for me because I don't really look at Christmas in the summertime. I'm a November. As I've gotten older, I've got October, Halloween. I'll start thinking about it. So trying to wrap my brain around Christmas has been a challenge. But I just want to remind you of the Linktree link below. It links to every channel, everything you need to know. It's there. So please go subscribe to all the channels that have been participating and go check out everything. There are prizes for each. You get an entry for each post that you make over in those Facebook groups, like I mentioned at the beginning. And there's 20 plus prizes, free junk journal kits, ebooks. You guys, those are great things, and thank you to those channels that were able to do that and contribute to the prizes. That's so nice. And those 2 kits are 30% off. So those shops are linked below. So make sure you go check out that information in the description as well as that Linktree link. All right, guys. I want to thank Teri for inviting me. I didn't want to say no, even though I don't think about Christmas in the summertime, because it was nice to be asked. And if you've been on my channel, I like thinking about things I don't normally do and challenging myself. So this was definitely a challenge. All right, guys. So I appreciate each and every one of you for watching. Oh, and thanks, Karen. I used her kit, Creative Paper Artisan. If you like steampunk, Stacy's kit is the jam, though. All right, guys. I appreciate you and your time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Until then, bye-bye.